Hello boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and I'm back, guys. I'm finally back bringing you videos and benchmarks about my hardware. I was out for 2 months, but I'm now fully back. So what bring me back, it was Stray, because this is an interesting game, intriguing one. It's not because I like cats and dogs and every stuff, but I decided to go back and start with this game. So as you can see, I will be playing the game at 1080p high settings, 1080p median settings, 1440p median settings, and 1440p high settings. The settings that makes the biggest differences are the effects quality and shadow quality. Effects quality, when you do change, it affects some of the effects like the depth of field quality, the volumetric quality. Screen space reflections, I assume there is kind of a difference, but I barely noticed any. And shadow quality, it is quite visible when you downgrade from high to medium. You can notice that the shadows do flicker a lot more than with high, but the performance gains are actually pretty big. Texture quality, it affects the VRAM usage. This game doesn't use too much VRAM, so you can push it to the high settings, which is the maximum on this game. And mesh quality, it's pretty much level of details. It affects mostly the CPU. It's not a big deal, but for the presets, I decided to reduce it nonetheless. So what can you expect from the performance? So my suggestion for you to play this game above 60 frames per second, I do recommend you to go with 1080p median settings. This first level, it is way more demanding than the second one, which I believe that it will correspond to the type of scenario that will take more time in game, which is the city. These outskirts with a lot of grass and sun, I'm pretty sure it won't be the majority of the time, but still it is considerably much more demanding than the rest, so I decided to use this intro sequence as the main benchmark for the game. And so with the high settings, unfortunately, most of the frame rate it is under 60 frames per second. Some cutscenes are quite demanding, and you saw that it was 40. So if you expect, if you are kind of adapts to play with a frame rate in between 40 to 60, I should say that it is just fine. Although on the city the frame rate was slightly above the 60 frames per second, so I'm not really sure if this performance level is just on this intro section or if it will affect the rest of the game. So for 1080p median, which I will try up next, 1080p median performs above 60 frames per second almost all the time, with the exception of this intro cutscene that you saw. That's at 1080p high settings it was 40. On 1080p median I was getting about 55 frames per second on that cutscene. All the rest of the sequences were playable above 60 with no drops, aside from the typical stuttering from Unreal Engine 4. But it was absolutely fine. So when it comes to 1440p median and high settings, 1440p median provides an experience in between the 40 to 60 frames per second, very playable. While the high settings, it provides an experience above 30. You can expect it to drop in big cutscenes below 30. So if you aim for a 30 frames per second experience, I should say that 1440p median, it is fine. But the high settings, it is also fine if you don't care about drops below 30 frames per second on the cutscenes. Keep in mind that this is very early stuff into the game, so I'm not really sure how the game will perform for the rest of it. But like I said, during the city moments, it was more lightweight than this intro section by a little bit. So I'm not really sure what you can expect. But I should say that my recommended settings for this game, it is really 1080p median settings, because it provides the majority of the time an experience above 60, and because the downgrades are not really that big. It's just a little bit of shadows flickering a little bit, and volumetric quality, it is a little bit lower, but that doesn't affect me that much. All the effects are simply there, but in a slightly lower quality. It's just that. So I'm going to move on to 1080p median, and I will shut up. And if you want to see the other settings, just visit the timestamps on the description of the video. If you have any question about anything, just leave on the comment section of the video. So hope you like the fact that I'm back. I will bring you up more videos about the upcoming games. As for the ones that I didn't cover, I'm sorry. I'm not going back to cover those videos. I'm very sorry. But PC gaming, it doesn't mean the same thing that it did mean in the past to me. So I'm just doing this for you guys. So guys, thank you a lot for watching, and I do hope to see you soon. Goodbye.